take a week and just play those interviews back to back because they really are interesting from all sides of the spectrum, left, right, people who just aren't buying what the system's saying. So I tell you, Prison Planet TV is a great deal for the money, and it supports everything we do here. It puts the lights above us, puts the TVs behind us, puts the news in our hands, puts our reporters out in the field, does everything that you see here. So if you're not a member, please consider becoming a member or get a membership for a family member. And, you know, we let you use the passcode for up to 6 people. Up to 6 different computers can be on at the same time. So we do give you that. So one passcode is worth 6. And, you know, get a card. You can send it out. Christmas is coming up in a few months. And send that out. It's a great gift. It's a really great gift you can give to people. Also, it's been churning along, and it's becoming more popular. It's planetinfowars.com. It's our social network. You can ask Alex questions. We've done almost 10 of those segments so far where people just send in questions to Alex, and he answers them. Another great treasure trove of information. We put those on Prison Planet TV. So we're giving you all kinds of stuff. You know, we're not funded by George Soros. We're not funded by General Electric. We're not funded by warmongering people. We're funded by you. The common citizen out there who believes in liberty, who believes in truth, who believes in freedom. And that's what it's all about, and that's why we're here. That's why I'm sitting in this chair, because I believe everything I'm saying here. I'm not bullying you. And that's going to be the section of the news right now. We're going to go to break. We'll come back with Darren McBreen. It's Rob Dew signing off.
Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about 1.5 years ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals. But the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com. Sign up as a distributor and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. I really enjoy it when the globalists try to poison us, and, well, we resist them via a free market system. Hello, my fellow Info Warriors. Alex Jones here, introducing you to the ProPure family of gravity-fed filters. Now, you know that the globalists are filling our water with radioactive isotopes, fluoride, lead, mercury, arsenic. And one of the few systems that can efficiently and economically remove or reduce down to non-detectable levels these poisons are gravity-fed filters. And ProPure is the top of the line. Their filters are impregnated with silver, a natural antibiotic. On top of that, they're bigger, so they filter faster. You don't have to prime these the first time you use them. It's amazing. Go to Infowars.com and click on the shopping cart link to see the entire family of these babies. Now, the fluoride they add to our water is so tiny that most filters can't cut it out. But ProPure has their system that will, again, reduce it to non-detectable levels, almost get all of it out of there. That's also available. And if you look at the different systems they offer, the ProPure Big Brush Finish is on a stand, so it's easier on a table or at your restaurant or wherever you have it to go up with a glass or a mug and fill it up. Then there's this big baby right here, the ProPure King large version. Got a lot of different options that come with it. Also, they have the ProPure Big, probably one of the best values out there. And of course, it's burnished stainless steel. And what I use on my RV, something that's great for your hunting cabin or the back porch, is the ProPure Traveler. Small and portable, but packs a huge punch, cleans out all that garbage. They also have glass sight spigot, so you don't have to take the top off and look in the bottom area to see how much water. You can see how fast it's filtering with this optional system. The globalists obviously are hitting us through our water. It's time to take control of our lives. It's time to not give our children and families these poisons, and these systems cut it down to non-detectable levels across the board. ProPure is the name. I only promote what I believe in. And I use ProPure in my home and my office. And I recommend that you check out the information on ProPure at INFOWARS.com. We already have the lowest price at INFOWARS.com on the ProPure gravity filter system. But when you add in the 10% off when InfoWarriors use the product code WATER at InfoWars.com, nobody can top it. So again, it's a win-win-win. Stop drinking the poison water. Checkmate the globalists when it comes to your health, and support InfoWars.com and the work we're doing here. You know, many revolutionaries rob banks and things and kidnap people for funds. We promote in the free market the products we use that are about preparedness. That's how we fund this revolution against the New World Order in our move to restore our constitutional republic and a spirit of 1776 worldwide. Check it out at InfoWars.com. ProPure, top of the line, #1, most powerful and effective and economical gravity-fed water system in the world. ProPure, available, discounted at InfoWars.com. Don't forget product code WATER to save 10%. It's the latest generation, years in development. ProPure is the name.
And we are back. Thank you for joining us. This is the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm Darren McBreen, and I have a question for you. How do you feel, or what do you do when you see a police car in your rearview mirror? Do you feel safe, or do you feel threatened? And what were you to do if a police car were to pull you over? Do you know your rights? And we're joined now by Eddie Craig from Rule of Law of Radio. And he's going to break down some of the do's and don'ts, what you can and can't say, or what you shouldn't say when you're pulled over or confronted by law enforcement. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let's start from the beginning. Flashing lights in my rearview mirror, getting pulled over. What are my rights at that point?
Well, your rights don't ever change. Whether you're being pulled over or not, the rights we have are inherent, unalienable rights. They belong to all of us. What we have to do is know what they are and when to invoke them in the presence of our public servants. When this police officer is initiating a traffic stop, he is operating under certain presumptions. One, that you are actually engaging in a regulable activity known as transportation. He got that premise based upon the fact that you have inspection stickers and license plates on your car. Because of that, he feels he has the authority to enforce these transportation regulations against you as a matter of course. Now, when you're pulled over, the last thing in the world you want to do is engage the officer in conversation. He is not your friend. Now, that's not to say he's a bad guy, but his job is to gather information and evidence for the purposes of his criminal investigation. And if he can engage you in conversation and get you to willingly and knowingly divulge information in a voluntary manner, then he is free to use that information against you later in a court of law.
And do they try to trick you into that as well? I mean, they know that better than you do, so they try to get you to divulge as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly why it is a very fatal mistake as far as your case would be and your defense would go to engage in loose conversation with the officer.
Sure.
He is trained to interrogate. He is trained to ask questions that will make them seem innocent enough that you see no harm in answering them, when in fact exactly the opposite is true. A good example would be the terminology they use to describe what you were doing. I noticed that your vehicle was being operated at an excess speed. Right there, he has attempted to get you to admit on the record that, one, you were operating a vehicle. Those terms are specifically related to the acts of transportation, which is a commercial activity. And what he's doing is he is leading you down the rosy pathway of admitting that you're engaging in the activity, even if you aren't. But since most people take words and phrases with which they are readily familiar and presume that they understand their meaning when they hear them, no matter the source, their mistake is that presumption. A term or phrase used in law will almost never have the same meaning that you or I are commonly familiar with. In fact, it's a 100% guarantee that if a word or phrase is defined in statutory law, then it absolutely is not being used in the common and ordinary manner. If it were, there would not be a reason or need to redefine it, now would there?
Well, okay, what about this, though? But they start asking you questions. The first thing they ask, may I see your license, registration? Do you ask them, am I suspected of a crime? Or you have the right to say, why did you pull me over?
Well, there are several things you can say, and in my classes I teach people to basically, until they learn the concept, they are to ask 3 questions and 3 questions only. The first one being, what is the emergency and how can I help? The reason for that question is very simple. The officer has activated his MARS lighting system, which I say stands for More Annual Revenue System, but he uses that to declare an emergency reason for why he's stopping you. So our question is innocent enough because we're not going to presume or assume that we did anything wrong. We didn't. He's trying to enforce a statute against us that only applies to certain classes of people in a regulable activity, and we're not in that activity. So his attempt to regulate us is out of hand anyway. So we didn't violate anything that we should feel guilty about. So that first question is asked to set that tone. The second question you ask is, am I under arrest? Now, the reason for that is you want the officer to tell you whether you are or you aren't, or you are or aren't under arrest. And the reason there is simple enough. The courts say that these officers can pull you over for the purpose of an investigative detention. Well, I don't see that in the Fourth Amendment anywhere, but that's how they want to do it. So going by the court's declaration, we then come to the point of asking, am I under arrest, to get the officer to attempt to give him an opportunity to admit that we are. Texas law is very clear. Chapter 543 of the Transportation Code calls these traffic stops a warrantless arrest, and that the officer may only release the person arrested from custody if the person will sign a promise to appear on the citation. So there's no question the officer is lying to you when he says, no, you're in an investigative detention. And most of them know they're lying. Now, the third question is, am I free to go? The officer should never be able to give you the same answer to question 2 and question 3. They're a complete contradiction. You can't be not under arrest and also not free to go. The main reason we ask that question is to set the stage to prove on the record that we are actually in a custodial arrest. The courts have ruled that when a reasonable individual feels that he is